all using non-verbal communication all the time when we're talking and interacting with other people, even though we might not be aware of it. Think of how easily you can get across to a friend or a loved one if you are feeling upset without even using words. But children with social communication difficulties or on the autistic spectrum can find this kind of communication a bit harder to understand, so you might need to explain how you're feeling and put it into words for them to help them understand the non-verbal communication. So you might need to say, I'm feeling angry because you haven't cleaned your room. My arms are folded like this and my face is looking like this because I'm feeling angry. I sometimes go a little further with the children and talk them through the facial expressions, showing that here's my face, but you can tell it's an angry face because my eyebrows are down at the moment. I'm feeling a bit angry. Use those natural facial expressions, body language, gesture, just as you would normally with anyone else you're interacting with. Although the child might not pick up on them at first, it's really important that they learn to understand this kind of communication. And some gestures are easier to read than others. So if you're saying, look for the teeny tiny Lego brick, it's quite easy to understand that that might mean small, and that might be enough to help your child be able to then find it and continue playing. Pointing is another really useful one. So if you're pointing at something, the child's more likely to be able to find it, if instead of just saying, go and look over there in the box, go and look over there in the box, makes your message more obvious, clearer, and it also helps children to learn that this kind of non-verbal communication will give them lots of clues that they should pick up on. As a speech and language therapist, I'm a big fan of using visuals and extra methods to help children understand. And words are very temporary, fast-moving. If you give an explanation and the child's forgotten it a few seconds later, it can be awkward to explain again, or they may not ask you to explain again. So, for example, if your child comes and says, what's a beard? What's a moustache? I might get my little person and quickly draw one on. Instead of just saying, it's when a man has hair on their face. There's a moustache. It's the hair that's there. Showing them visually with a gesture and a little picture. Can just give them something more to hang on to, gives them something to refer back to if it's a picture, so that they can check again and remind themselves, oh, a moustache, is the hair there. Silly example, but you get how a picture can represent 1,000 words, as the saying goes. So keep on using all of those extra communication methods. If you have an iPad or a computer with you, I like Googling images, and then you can find many different examples of different kinds of moustaches, of different styles, different shapes, to help your child really understand. And that can be another really nice, meaningful way of explaining new vocabulary or concepts to your child, adding in that visual support. So the last way that you can do is demonstrating as a really valuable support for children with communication difficulties. So instead of just saying, go and put all your cars back in the car box, you go with them, you do the very first one, and then they're there, they can continue it. Or if you're saying you need to do up all the buttons on your coat, especially if they find some of those buttons tricky, if you do a couple with them, they can finish it off, they know what they need to do, they get that sense of achievement because they've also done the last one. So keep on using all these methods. They'll really help your child's non-verbal communication, both their understanding and use of it, and they'll support their understanding of spoken language as well.